want to talk about the front runner for the Democratic National Committee, because like, if you listen to the media over there for the last few weeks, this man's been the front runner. His name is Sleepy Joe, according to Donald Trump. His name is Joe Biden. You might remember him over here. My audience will remember him. He was vice president to president. My boss. You'll know that if you understand what I'm talking about. Because this guy, Joe Biden, who is the front runner of the Democratic pick to go head to head with Donald Trump, the right-wing populist, is a woman who literally is, I think, 5 minutes away being getting spoon-fed applesauce by a woman in a blue apron. Is that a fair assessment, Jamal? What's happened?
Joe Biden, literally, and when I say literally, I know sometimes I use the term literally, and my wife jokes that literally doesn't always mean literally with me. No,
hasn't it changed?
As an absolute,
the definition's changed now, hasn't it? It's
changed. As an absolute flat fact, literally could not remember Obama's name. Now, his campaign is being run to some degree off of his time with Obama because he doesn't want you to look at his last 40 years that are just outright atrocious, but couldn't remember his name. And he's like, yeah, Putin took the Crimea, which was nonsense. That was wrong. That was a vote. But then he goes into this thing, my boss.
Because they invaded another country and annexed a significant portion of it called Crimea. Right. He's saying that it was my boss, it was his fault. My boss.
And you think to yourself, what does the audience think in that moment?
I saw it.
Man can't remember Obama's name and he's skating on his record. And last week, he couldn't remember where he was. Again, literally did not know where he was.
That's sad.
Yeah, I love Vermont. Vermont is awesome. He's in New Hampshire. And this is, one mumbling, incoherent speech after the next. He kept calling Theresa May Margaret Thatcher. He did more than once.
To be fair, come. All right, okay.
Yeah. In a Democratic primary, Democrats, blacks vote 90% Democrat.
Yeah.
That number is astonishing. But blacks vote Democrat like that because they're terrified of Republicans. There's a history in this country of the monsters being in the other party, in which case they know those monsters in the other party and they vote out of fear more than anything else. In the primary, where blacks vote 90% Democrat, Joe Biden went and said, raising the height of working together with segregationists, people who are out and out running in the daylight with no shirt on, racists, and showing him working with these guys as being the height of, this is what politics used to be when people used to work together, either putting blacks in prison or having segregationists to prevent blacks from being able to engage in the political process. Like, you don't do that. And there's a certain degree of political acumen that goes into saying that you just don't do that just by virtue of the political process that you find yourself. He's out of it. He's losing his mind, even on a debate stage. My argument that it goes beyond Joe Biden not remembering facts and features, not remembering, when Kennedy was shot, apparently when his marriage took place, not remembering Obama's name, not remembering where he was on the campaign trail, not remembering Theresa May's name. It goes into just him being a shadow of his former self. If you look at Joe Biden's debates in 2008,
didn't he say, Jamal, didn't he say recently something like, poor people are just as bright as white people?
Yeah, that too.
It was poor people are just as smart as white people. That's what he said.
He did. But that's what I mean. In the old days, he would know not to say that. He's losing his mind. His political acumen is out the window. And they're talking about putting him up against Trump. Oh. He got bullied by Kamala Harris, who was shown to be a complete paper tiger when the very next week, in 1 minute, she got taken apart by Tulsi Gabbard. Yeah, he got bullied by Cory Booker. And you're going to put him up against Donald Trump. What I'm telling you is going to happen is Donald Trump is going to deride, he's senile. He's losing his marbles. Sleepy Joe, he's not altogether there. He's going to be put in a home pretty recently. He is going to be called incompetent. They're going to call him everything but a child of God. And they're going to run one video after the next of him incoherent, not able to get his words out. They are going to go after him in a way that the Democratic Party wouldn't. He is going to lose. I know people are thinking, Joe Biden is really skating on just notions of electability.
Yeah.
Like he's
No, it's
electable
name
because
recognition. People know him from Obama. That's it.
That's the point. He's not. Those people that think he's electable thought Hillary Clinton was going to beat Trump. They were wrong. They also thought that Trump was working with the Russians and that Mueller was going to find that out. They were wrong. They were wrong in the entirety of this process. Now, here's the catch. Here's the bright spot. It's beginning to show in the polling. Biden is starting to flame out. Now, I've argued that Biden was going to flame out months ago because he was out of kilter with what people in the primary wanted. The catch here is, and the part that I was wrong on, is the stick-to-itiveness of electability. People at a certain point says, I don't care about policy, I don't care about vision, I'm just terrified, just get Trump out of office. In which case, that's my guy. But the problem here is, when you go on one debate stage or one stage after the next, and it looks like you are losing your mind. Biden said recently, people don't care about me missing dates and facts and figures and me lying and all this other stuff. Not to mention he's lying. Like, he lied about a war story yesterday. The other day.
He got everything wrong, didn't he? The medal, the location, the person. It was this guy, and he picked up another guy. It's like, do these guys have names? No, he got everything wrong.
Either Joe Biden is lying or he is losing his mind. And it is probably a little bit of both.
And either way, it's scary if he's the guy who's going to be up against Trump, because Trump must be he must be licking his lips at the thought of Joe Biden. He must be hoping to God that Sleepy Joe gets the nomination.
I think in the beginning, I think Trump was concerned because I think, like a lot of us, we probably thought, okay, Joe Biden matches up well against Trump. Like, I think Biden.
And then he opened his mouth.
Well, right. And then he opened his mouth. And then we've had 2 months. And then we've had debates. And then you look and say, okay, this guy is no. That's no. There's no way. He will get bullied. I've been right the entire way through this process. British politics and U.S. politics. He will get bullied. You believe that the email issue for Clinton wouldn't go away. Joe Biden on one campaign stage after the next looks like he's losing his mind. And what Republicans are going to do are going to attack that relentlessly. He's not altogether there. This is mental impairment. These are not gaffes. There is no situation where you could be at your job and they call it a gaffe. They call it a fuck up and you can lose your job over it. I understand that Joe Biden wants to be president. He's wanted to be president for 40 years. But, a blind man can't drive across country. And I feel for him. My heart goes out to him. Everybody has ideas and dreams. There's all sorts of things that I want to do I can't do. There takes a larger society to say, yeah, that's not the safest thing in the world for you to be behind a vehicle, not being able to see it all. And I think the same thing is true for Joe Biden. It's not the safest thing in the world for you to be put in the presidency, not having all of your scruples and losing your mind and slowly going senile.
Yeah, I mean,
they told him to take more naps.
Yeah, I know. My girlfriend told me about that today. She said we're over a year away from the election, and he's having to take more naps already. Yeah, I mean,
his own team.
I mean, I know. You shouldn't make fun because obviously he could have Alzheimer's. I made a joke the other day. I said, well, the media think this guy got it. What it takes to beat Trump. I'm assuming that what it takes is Alzheimer's because I shouldn't make fun of it. I'm not making fun at Alzheimer's or anything like that. I'm making fun at the whole preposterous notion that Joe Biden could beat Donald Trump in an election. It's preposterous, isn't it?
All the tools at your disposal should be marshaled to take down Biden. If that means deriding him and joking him that he may have Alzheimer's, that is a better situation than putting a man that may actually be senile into the White House. And no, I don't think it's me joking Alzheimer's. It's me kind of making this point that this guy's losing it. He shouldn't be president. It's just that basic point. And it's not, I'm not making this kind of thing about him being old. I don't care of his age. Clearly, I'm supporting Sanders, and Sanders is around the same age. But Sanders is not making those mistakes. Sanders is not mentally losing it. Sanders is not getting on one debate stage after the next, not remembering his wife's name. Well, okay, that's not fair. Not remembering Obama's name or not remembering when his wife, when they got married. It's a list every day. I could do a video on it every day. Joe Biden put out a campaign video.
He said Kennedy was shot in the 70s.
Yeah, he didn't know. And then he tethered it to like when he was married or something. It's like, wait, does he not know when he was married? Like, what the hell? And he said Martin Luther King was shot in the 70s. This was the 60s. He was off by a factor of 10.
You know, Jamal, if only we could run an experiment, you know, of a left wing neoliberal that was centrist against Donald Trump in an election. And if only we could run an experiment to see what would happen. And maybe we could warn the DNC what was going to happen if we ran that experiment and it lost badly.
That's entirely conceptual, Gordon. I don't know, man. That's entirely conceptual, man. I don't know.